All right, I'm ready to paint my cactuses, and if you remember from last time, just tapping off some of my crayon crumbs, I have colored all of my cactus, my dirt, my pot, and I used my crayons to add in a little bit of texture to my table so that will peek through. I'm going to start at the top, work my way down to the bottom so that I'm not dragging my hand through the paint. I have watercolor paint, so if you guys remember, we always need to wake them up with a little bit of water before we use them. I am gonna think for a minute about what color will work well in my background. Green probably won't be the best choice because I have a lot of green in my cactuses. I don't want to take away from them. I do have a lot of red and purple showing at the top, so you know what, I'm gonna go orange. I think orange might be a nice color for me. So I just wet my paintbrush and I'm just waking up my paint a little bit. But when I'm ready to paint, I dip, I wipe, then I paint. So I'm in control of the amount of water being used. Okay. And crayon has created a nice safe spot for your paint to go around. It will not go on top of it. If I just take some water and I dab it on there, you can see it just kind of sits there. It doesn't sink in. And I'm painting my background all the way up to my cactus. I do have some in-betweens here. I want to make sure I'm using my pointy ballerina toe paintbrush, that it's not turning into a hairy troll with the hairs going every which way. When it starts to look like this, that means you need water and paint once again. So every time I dip in water and then wipe the paintbrush on the edge of my cup. That way it doesn't get too out of control. And all the way down to the bottom where I meet my table. So I stop right at this line where I went in to draw my table with my Sharpie. So that line is important, separating the wall and your surface. Maybe it's a table, maybe it's the ground, maybe it's a porch. That was part of your decision. And you can always touch up your paint if it doesn't look like it's as deep of a color as you want. No harm in doing a second coat of it. Just going back over a little bit. And it always looks a little bit different when it dries as well, so no worries about that. There we go. All right, so I'm ready to do my table. Clean my brush by rubbing it a little bit on the bottom of my cup or on the side of my cup, but give it a tiny bit of a scrub to get the paint off. I'm gonna wake up my brown. I'm gonna do a brown color for my surface. Dip, wipe, paint. And I love to see the crayon peeking through, and that should happen because crayons are wax, and wax and water don't mix, so the crayon texture that you did underneath should show through. That's called resist painting when that happens. And that works with oil pastels also because of the oil. Oil and water don't mix, wax and water don't mix, so it works with crayon. You could even write with a candle and it would work. There's artists that work in hot wax and then paint over it. It's called batik. But there we go. I'm done. All I have to do is let it dry, and my cactus is all set.